Do 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 do. What's that from? Do 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 do. Are we live? It says live. Ladies and gentle nerds. That's a new one. Are we live? Are we live? Oh, it's showing up. Do 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 do. Is that Scooby Doo? Scooby Scooby Doo, where are you? Saying we're live. Oh, we got 15 viewers. You are live. Okay, I am live. How come I can't show up on my damn... My YouTube app is broken, y'all. What the fuck? Guys, how does it sound? How does it look? I'm streaming through a wireless setup here, so it might look a bit dog shit, but we're figuring it out. Yo, what the fuck? Connor, is it showing up on your subscription feed?
I'll look 1 second.
Connor's not subscribed to me, but...
Yeah, at least subscribe real quick.
Oh, it's Inspector Gadget. Do 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 do. Can you send me it?
You want me to send it to you?
Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing up on my YouTube app. That's odd.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Sorry, y'all. We'll start talking about the camera here. The reason I wanted to do this live... So my sound real quick. Ooh. It don't look half bad, y'all. How's it look? Oh, it's a little pixelated, huh? Let me turn it to 4K. Let's see if that helps at all. Oh, when you put it to 4K, it don't look half bad. And then the YouTube processing kind of kills the... We have some banding bitrate issues out over there, but seems to be going just fine. All right, y'all. So let's talk about this camera. It's growing on me. I'm really liking it. Before we do that, though, I am filming on new secret anamorphic lenses. I don't know when I'll be able to start talking about these. If I could find my flashlight. My flashlight. Where's my flashlight? As usual, I wasn't prepared, guys. Oh, there it is. Here's the camera, by the way. So again, this is a new anamorphic lens. Ooh, wow. I haven't even done this flare test before. What's really cool about this lens as well is it's a zoom. It's a full frame anamorphic 2x zoom. And by the saturation of those blue flares, you guys might be able to guess who it is. But yeah, I can't say yet. Okay, let me just double check my focus here because I did move back a hair bit. I am using Asun's new wireless monitor. This one's actually Connor's, but I will be getting my own here soon. I'm really shocked at how good this monitor is. I seem like I'm in focus, yeah, guys? Let's double check. I think that's... Here, I'll just go in minimum focus for you guys so you can see that 2x bokeh. And then to infinity. And then we'll go back onto me. Right there. I'm gonna click my A point. And then let's go a little bit more forward. So when I start talking about the camera, we have a different focus point. And that will be right there. That's my B point, and then I can rack focus back to A. And then since they're parfocal anamorphic zooms, I should be able to do that. Boom. Cool. Okay, we can rock and roll now. So, This new camera, I'm really, it's growing on me, guys. It's growing on me to the point where Connor thinks I'm crazy, but I would, if I never touched the Leica, I think I would buy this camera for its price that it's asking for. And I know people are going to be really annoyed by that, but it is what it is. Let me transfer some of the photos that I took this morning. And you guys, some of you guys might be able to start seeing like, okay, I see it, I get it. Let me do this real quick. I was not prepared at all, but what's new? RX morning. Let me just transfer these guys here. Make sure I don't show my address or anything like that. Because I got stalkers, I got lover boys who want to wear my skin. I'll let you guys figure out who I'm talking about. Cool. Okay, then on eCam, let me figure out again how the hell to put, not a new scene. No. No. No, we're struggling here. We're on the struggle bus. No. Here, this is what I needed. Bear with me, I'm trying. Do I just do select all, or? Do I gotta import one by one? Don't tell me I gotta do all that. What's this one do? New animation overlay, new image overlay. I guess this is what I gotta do. Can I not select multiple? I don't think I can. All right, well, there we go. That looks like shite. How do I zoom out? Wow, y'all. I really should have, This is all bad. Border color, nope. Border width, corner radius, nope. Nope. This is all bad. Oh, it's probably easier if I just screen share. Oh, no. Okay, let's do that. So what I'll do is I'll open up all of these into preview. It's on preview. Open with preview. All right. So then we'll do a screen share. We'll do entire screen, current application. Is this working? Nope, that's not what I wanted. So many people dip off as I'm fumbling so hard. Wow. There we go. All right, so now you guys can see the images on here. So this is what's most important about this camera. It's all about the look that you can get. If you can't get a good look, then what's the point of even using this camera? So there we go. Now you guys can see the whole frame here. It's almost there. Okay. Thumbnails. This is the struggle bus. So let me show y'all some of these photos. Look at this. Look at this bokeh. Is this clear for you guys? Let me go back in the chat real quick. Let's go through the chat real quick, and then we'll start looking at photos. So you guys can see, you can have any opinion you want about this camera, but it all comes down to, is it enjoyable to use, and does it, create images with you that you could be happy with enough to spend this type of money. Hey, Houston. We got Houston in the house. Is anything close to the Q3? I would say in terms of the filling of the images, yes. But the Q3 image quality is still far superior to it. I'll buy the RX3 here in Germany in a few days. What's the longest handheld shutter time for sharp pictures? Kyle Meshna just did a video and he said like once you hit 1/60, it's kind of hard to use, or 1/50, I think he said. So, you know, it's going to be like a traditional old school camera with no IBIS or IS. Is this guy Filipino? No, I have 0 Asian in me that I know of. How are you doing this remotely? It's through a wireless transmitter through the new Asun monitors. So, you know, this monitor acts as a receiver and obviously an external monitor. So I'm pushing the monitor output into eCam. So technically I could pick up this camera and just, you know, go handheld if I needed to. Yeah, I still prefer my Leica Q343, no doubt. 5 minutes late to a live isn't late. I'm barely getting the ball rolling and we've been live for 10 minutes already, so you're good. Imagine, great little camera. And if you're a Sony user, an amazing compact journey, but let's be real, Leica is Leica. Price you would not. For that price, you would be a fool not to get AQ. Oh, you spelled fool wrong. Yeah, that's the hard thing. If I've never touched a Leica camera before, I think I would be all over this camera. I would have bought it after trying it. But you know, I have used lots of Leicas and they are far superior to this camera in every way possible. I love the Cheeto Man talk in the last video. I appreciate it. I'm not scared to stand up for what I believe in, even though people hate it. Looks good. The S9's still great. It's just it's the electronic shutter. There's no real shutter in it, which can present issues. But again, it's a fraction of the price. So the main thing is this camera is actually pocketable, while Leica Q is not. Let me show you how stupid this take is. Here's the. Let's zoom in. Let's do it. Yep, not true at all. Okay, where's my focus point at? Where was it at? It's about right here. All right, guys. So look how stupid this whole talking point is. Yeah, that bitch ain't getting in there. Anyone who's saying, oh, it's so pocketable, it's not fucking pocketable, guys. If you have Jinko jeans from the 1990s, sure, it might be pocketable. Or if you're wearing a skirt, which, you know, a lot of the tech heads like to wear, you know, it might fit. If I take my belt off, I could probably fit it. Even like that, guys. Look at this. Even like this. Let's see. Let's go this way. Nope. It's not going to fit. Now, let's grab the Q343. And since I paid 7 to 8 grand, this is pocketable, you know, for the price. You know, look at that. That's definitely going in there. That's why I bought this, because it was pocketable. That's why I spent 7 grand on this. Maybe the lens could fit in there. Not me the lens. But while we're being obnoxious here, this is the size difference between both of these. It's really, you know, when you get to fixed lens cameras, for me, it's not about pocketable, I would say, but it is nice to have smaller form factors like this. But while we're at it too, here's the Fujifilm X-T5. I did fuck up big time because I went to go return this to Amazon because the X-T5 came out like 2 weeks after I bought this. And my dumbass shipped the box back and it's been held there for like 2 weeks. I was like, how come they're not accepting a return? And then yesterday in the back of the drawer is like, wait, the X-T5 is still here. So I don't know what the hell I put in that box. So I got to call them before I ship this one out. But you can see that's the X-T5 next to the Sony RX1. The lens on here is the Viltrox 27mm f1.2. You can get incredible character out of this lens. It's sharp, lots of swirliness, especially wide open, specifically wide open. but it's still a crop sensor. And so, you know, with full frame, I don't give a shit who you are and who says what. Full frame gets you better image quality. It's a fact. If anybody wants to argue that, you know, go buy a medium format digital camera and tell me it doesn't get better image quality than the rest of these cameras. Size matters. Sorry, gentlemen. Okay. You got Serbia. Oh, shit. We got Andre in the house. Bro, don't leak anything. Damn, do I love where you live. Hope to visit you one day. Bro, I don't know if I could be caught next to you, though. You're going to get me banned from all the brands. That's dope, though. Appreciate you stopping in. How's the low light on the camera? I can get the Q343 at f2, ISO 1600, shutter 1/15. How long can you go with the f2 lens, the dark with the IBIS? I don't know, dude. I don't really shoot too much low light stuff. And if I do, you know, and I don't have any lights, I'm most likely not shooting anything that's like crazy important. So I don't care about boosting up the ISO. I don't honestly think they planned on mass producing these. They want something in the category with lots of leftover sensors. There's probably some truth to that. I don't think people realize, you know, when Sony's one of the only companies making sensors. When they make a sensor, they're not fucking making a sensor just to replace it a year later. It takes so, I don't think you guys understand how much technology and investment goes into designing and manufacturing a sensor. So when they finally do it, you know, of course, they have to milk it for as long as they can to return their investment. This is business. I know a lot of people hate that money is involved with this, but in order to fucking get the latest and greatest cameras, it takes money. Like, everybody needs to grow the fuck up when it comes to the business end of things here. So, you know, I have no issue with this sensor. If they, you know, I don't want a 100 megapixel full frame sensor, and that's probably what's going to be next up on the schedule here for whatever latest greatest sensors are coming out. I don't want that. I don't know if you guys have ever shot 100 megapixels on a sensor, but the files are fucking obnoxious and they fill up your hard drives. It's very annoying shooting with 100 megapixels. So, you know, the dynamic range is already great on the sensor. If they updated it, I don't know, make a stacked version, but then, you know, it's going to start hurting noise performance, the dynamic range. So I don't know. Sweet, do you know the worth of your tech? Must be a lot. No. Andre said, I think the Sony RX1R3 will prove to be better than expected in time. People love the real world experience. I 1000% agree with you, bud. Someone left a comment saying I think it was Precision Camera in Austin. It's like the biggest camera store out there, that they put on a Sony event for this new camera. And they said they never seen it that packed for an event there. And I guess it was so packed that people had to stand up. And the age group was a lot of mid-age, which is me. I know my acne makes me look younger to people my age, but then people younger than me probably think I look old as fuck. I'm about to be 35, so I am a middle-aged man. And, you know, this is a camera for me. And then it was older people above that. So I know a lot of people who have careers and have kind of maybe some play money to throw away on a overpriced camera. That's still a great camera. So yeah, I really do think into the future, I think this camera is going to do way better than what the small niche of people on YouTube are saying in the viewership. Like, I don't think people realize we are not the center of the universe. There's millions of other people out there who like cameras and they don't give a fuck what we say. They have no clue about us. My thoughts between a RX1R3 versus A7CR and 35-1.8 and 1.4. All of Sony's lenses are incredibly boring and sterile. They're great for work and getting a job done because, you know, they just work, they're clean, there's gonna be no distractions, but that's for work. When you get outside of work and you're trying to, you know, have fun and enjoy life and actually create and make painterly images, I know that's my big thing, Sony lenses tend to not do that. This lens does. So before I go over more comments, let's go back to some of these images here. So you guys can see, this is what's so freaking, this is what's making me fall in love with this camera. It's purely the lens on here. Let me see if I can position this so it hides the, it's not going to do it. So let's go to more bokeh out stuff. I don't want people seeing where I live, so I'm trying to be a little bit inconspicuous here. So all the photos that I shot this morning, here's the record player right here. I did shoot a side-by-side with the Leica Q3 and the lens is incredibly way sharper than this Sony lens. But I don't have an issue with that. I don't chase sharpness, I chase more character. So obviously zoomed out, you know, it looks sharp. But you can see we're getting some juice in here. It's not perfect, which is what I love. And I find it funny because a lot of people are bitching on like, they didn't even update the lens. Let me go back to my main screen for this next rant. Personally, once... Oh, is it? Oh, well. Personally, I would be terrified if Sony updated this lens, because guess what they would probably do? They would make it clean, perfect, and clinical. I don't fucking want that. Again, fixed lens cameras, these are useless cameras. No one needs to get one of these. You're better off, logically, you're better off investing into an A7CR and a perfect lens that's, you know, for the rest of life, it's never gonna have any defects. You know, I don't want that. And so, you know, if Sony's gonna update this lens, they're probably gonna ruin it. They're probably gonna make it just perfect. They're gonna kill all the character out of it, and they're gonna streamline it. I don't want that. So personally, I'm happy they did not update the lens. So let's go back to these photos here. Where the hell is, here it is. So again, I have the short stash filter on here, so that's why we're getting some of this blooming here. But you can see, I love this. You can see Sedona is kind of like popping off the background a little bit. And I wouldn't say this lens is so sharp that it's creating like that 3D pop effect, but I think it's more of the bokeh has character to it. I think that's what we're seeing here. Let me zoom in. You can see we have chromatic aberrations. The short stash filter is creating some softness and some haze. You can see on the lights back here, more chromatic aberrations. Personally, I like this. You know, the Leica Q3 has character like this, even better character, I would say, but they keep it really sharp. You can see right here, I'm getting more closer to her. Look how stunning the bokeh is on this. I fucking love this, guys. Again, the Q3, the difference would be she would really be popping off this image because of the APO, how sharp it is. But then right behind her, it would be even creamier and more creamy bokeh behind her. And then it starts distorting when you get into the edges. That's what the Leica Q3 would do. But with the Sony, you know, this doesn't look like any other Sony lens out there that, you know, that I've tried at least. Here's some more. Just some more here. So again, this is all just this morning. And again, I have the short stash filter on here. So what's interesting, this is kind of giving me, like full frame Fuji X100 vibes, because the bokeh on the Fujifilm X100 is a little bit noisy, like distracting almost. And on the Sony here, it's smoother, but it's busy, but it has that full frame, like big look. So again, after shooting it just this morning, I was like, wait a second, I'm actually really loving this. So definitely if they priced this at like $4 grand, oh my God, I would pick one up so quick. So here's through one. This is actually, I'm shooting through the driver's side window, and you can still see the character on here. Like, this is beautiful. Look at that. Even going through all the glass, it's still sharp. Again, it's not gonna be like a Q3 sharp, but it still looks good. Here's some just down the road. Again, this is with the short stash filter. And you guys know the max shutter speed on this camera is 1/2000. So the short stash filter is gonna help, you know, kind of give us a little bit more control over that shutter speed. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how I can get the full thing in there. If I go, no? Oh, there we go. Okay. Here's just some more. A vertical one. Again, you guys can see all of this beautiful, charming, I want to say it's like creamy busy, like busy creamy bokeh on here. Yeah, I'm really, really, really loving this. Here's a cool shot. So you can see that short stash filter is creating some beautiful, like some diffusion on there. It's giving it a little bit more character, but then the bokeh is what's really giving us the character here. Here's the crop modes. So this is the full 35 millimeters. You can see, again, the foreground blur. It's got some juice. And then it's the 50 millimeter, and then 100 millimeter. So on the Leica Q343, it does the same thing, but since it's an APO lens and it's so freaking sharp, it has crazy sharpness. This is actually holding up pretty well. Yeah, I actually don't mind the sharpness on here. So again, this is the 70 millimeters cropping in, and then back to the 35. 35 again. Here's a cool 35 millimeter shot. Again, it doesn't have a lot of swirliness, but you know, there is some charm to the bokeh. It's just not clinical and boring. Right here, you kind of see it. It kind of is like forcing you to look at what's in focus. That's kind of what's important here. Here's another one. I was trying to take advantage of Sedona being right there. And again, these are JPEGs. These aren't even RAWs. And so this is the film look 1 that we're looking at here. And I'm shooting at like a 7200 Kelvin white balance. Just some more, nothing, you know, no crazy shots here. Once again, you can see just, it's really, the lens is what's selling me on this camera right now. This is like truly a pretty beautiful lens, in my opinion. Here's more crop modes. So this is 35 millimeters. And again, the short stash filters on here, which helps, in my opinion, the short stash filter helps give a little bit more of a filmic look, purely because it kind of brings down the density of the highlights from the polarizer. But you can see right here, this is the 35 millimeter, that's the 50, and then that's the 75. This is 35. This isn't minimum focus, but you can still see that bokeh is creamy. And then this is the main shot that I want to share with you guys here. So this is f2. This is the film look 1. And yeah, short stash filters on it too. But you guys can see this, the sharpness on it. So again, the Leica Q343, you would be able to see every strand of hair being separated because it's an APO design. So it's aligning, you know, those different color channels to, or color rays, I guess we'll call them, hitting the sensor perfectly at the same time. So that's what you're getting with chromatic aberrations, is basically those different speeds of light or spectrums of light. They hit at different moments, and so it's not precise. And so chromatic aberrations is basically, it's like filling in the gaps. And so that's what's affecting the sharpness here. When you're seeing chromatic aberrations like here, there's some green and red halations going around there. But it's still sharp. So, but you guys can see, there's some beautiful character to this lens here. And for me, that's what it's all about. So, let's go back to the comments and see what you guys are saying here. Yeah, the autofocus is a lot better than the Leica Q343. I wish Leica, you know, could make their focus as good as Sony's. It's still great, it works. I don't have like too many issues with it, and then when I do, I just have to put in manual focus. So the fact that I have to put it in manual focus though is what's annoying. We got Michigan. This camera, the Fuji 100 RF. This is a great question. I'm not gonna touch that Fujifilm 100 RF because they fucked up putting that lens on there. For me, I don't shoot medium format because of the pixel count. I shoot because it's a bigger sensor and I can create more subject separation without having to open up the lens as much. But f4, you you know, paying $5,000 for a fixed lens f4 lens, even if it is on a medium format sensor, you're missing, you know, you'll never be able to get that big medium format look out of it. So to me, everything I've seen from it, it looks like the Fujifilm X100, but cleaner, but the same like busy, uninspiring type bokeh out of it. Hey, Phil. I wouldn't say it's too small, but, you know, personally, I could care less about the size. If I was to buy this, I hate the texture, the rubber texture stuff. It feels gross. So, you know, I'm hoping people will come out with brass accessories for it. Because you guys saw on my Leica Q343, here, let me go back to our... Let's just go to minimum focus here, so I can show you guys here the accessories on my Leica Q343. Let me see if I can get my screen out. So, am I in focus there? I think it's right there. So this is my Leica Q343. You can see the brass on here. This is a brass little thumb grip here that IDS made this. I can swivel this out, and this makes a great like little, you know, friction point to where if I'm on the back of a horse or a quad, back of a truck, whatever I'm doing, whatever, you know, rowdy shit we're getting into, this is all I really need. But then analogous, maybe this bottom brass plate, and this does add some weight to it. So anybody who's like, oh, I like lighter, I don't really get that, you know. I'm not a buff guy, but you know, if you're complaining about the weight of this, I don't know what's going on with you if you think this is heavy. But then here's a grip on here, beautiful texture on here. Overall, the Leica Q343 just feels great. It feels like a tank. And you guys can see mine's getting pretty beat up. Like I've been using the hell out of this thing. So now let's look at the Sony. And again, I feel like the accessory companies, I feel like they could save this, the build quality on this. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It doesn't sound, and then I'll wait for this. Oh my God. So that's a Leica Q343. I'm hitting that pretty hard. And then here's the Sony. Yeah, you guys can hear. So yeah, the build quality on this, it definitely leaves a little bit more to desire, you know. The buttons, it feels kind of sterile. I wish they took off the mode dial because this just looks fucking ugly on this thing. I wish they just got rid of that and maybe blacked out the dial. Like just blacking that out alone would look sick. Let's do something real quick. Here. Let me get this. I think one thing that could help this, here, let's zoom in as well. Here we go. So, where's our focusing point? It's right here. Is that it? Yep. So, one of the things that really bugs me, that Sony logo. That thing's huge. I don't think they should have done that. I think they should have blacked it out. So let's take some of this gaff. Let's make this, I think this should cover it actually. Let's just put this on the lens. Get rid of that little piece. So let's see if this makes it more beautiful. I'm just gonna put that guy right there. Oh yeah, already that looks more classy. See, Sony, that's all you had to do. Now it looks like a Leica. Now we can put a little red badge right here. I'm kidding, guys. I know it just triggered so many people. But yeah, the build quality, I don't really, it's whatever. The build quality doesn't represent the price tag. That is, I can say that confidently. Here, let me zoom in here so I can make sure I'm getting my focus. Okay. Right there. We can zoom back out. I'm using the DJI wireless system for zoom and focus. Okay. Getting the camera on Friday to test it and create videos about it. Looking forward to any advice on what to look out for. Just want to be prepared. I mean, not really. I haven't used it enough to like see if there's like any annoying quirks with it. I am contemplating buying the older one because just when I was in New York City a couple weeks ago, I tried the version 2 and the pop-up viewfinder, incredibly fun. Little things like that. Again, I have bad ADHD, so if a company can entertain me with little, design things like that, some might call it a gimmick, some might call it a cool feature. That's enough for me to be like, let me try this thing out. So, also guys, we are streaming from the Lumix S1 II. Zero overheating stuff so far. So hopefully we don't have any overheating stuff. I see more and more medium format cameras being showcased by influencers. Is that the future? I think I understood what you're trying to say. Guys, this whole thing of like, oh, this camera's only doing well because of influencers, that's so fucking stupid. Like, to think that grown-ass adults are buying things, like a mass group of people are buying things just because they're influencers using it. That's not how it works. If an influencer shows something and it's a cool fucking product, then it's gonna sell. If the product is fucking shit and an influencer shows it, no one's gonna give a fuck. Like, can we stop acting like people are children? Need some Jinko jeans. Yeah, I'm about to go search some Jinko jeans just to, put some of these cameras in my pockets. The nut shot. Everybody loves a good nut shot. Yeah, I mean, if you had a jacket pocket, but guess what? I live in Southern California. For half of the year, it's like 90 degrees up in this bitch. I ain't wearing no fucking jacket. See, Kermit, maybe we should do that. Maybe all of us influencers should start wearing Jinko jeans and bring those back. I'm gonna do it. Is that 35mm improved from the last version? If not, is it good to be kept on there? It's not improved, and yes, it's good enough to be kept on there. But if you saw my video on this new Sony, and in the intro I say, if you are a spec head, like if all you care about is seeing the specs being upgraded on that paper, and you really don't understand how that correlates to how it will help you create and be a creative, then you're not gonna like the lens because it's not upgraded and it's old. But if you're a photographer and you're not a camera owner, there's a difference. If you're an actual photographer and you care about how the camera feels in hand and if it helps you create the shots you want to do, and if the final image is getting what you envisioned, and you like the look of the camera, or the lens, I should say, then you'll love it. It's that simple. The same as a Sony A7 IV is not same sensor. No, it's the same sensor as the A7R5. Why would I get upset if God, you guys are so stupid. Why would I get upset because one camera is smaller than the other? I really don't give a fuck. I'm making a joke that it's, people are like, oh, I love how small it is. In reality, it could be, a camera could be half an inch bigger. To me, that's not a buying point for me. Yeah, I got to try out the XM5 at Build in New York City, and I really like it. I think that will feel better in hand than this new Sony. But again, it's still a crop sensor. Kofi, calm down. Yeah, I agree. If they're gonna upgrade the sensor, more dynamic range is always great, but guys, we already have freaking insanely good dynamic range on cameras from the past 20, or not 20 years, maybe 10 years, maybe let's say 8 years. Especially if you're shooting a RAW, it's already good. What I would like instead of Sony like investing more money into sensors, they should invest more money into getting in-camera film looks. I think that's what they should do. Or figuring out ways to like get a more filmic look, like a more filmic highlight roll off by putting, you know, special filters on it or something. I don't know. See, this is, again, for the weight and everything, you know, all these cameras, to me, they're light. I could put them around me. I could carry them all day. They're not going to get heavy. But this is coming from somebody who can carry around a 20, 30 pound cinema camera. And I'm kind of used to that. And that is backbreaking. Like, it destroys my back to do that. And on like my cowboy shoots and stuff, you can't really use a ready rig or easy rig or any of that because they get in the way when we're doing the run and gun shoots. And so to me, maybe that's why I think the whole conversation around light cameras is silly. Because, you know, all of them are light to me. So you guys, even Connor's saying, he's just in the other room over here, I can't wait for it to be used. It's cool, but just needs to be way cheaper. Yeah, I think it's going to take us like 4 to 5 years, though, for that price to come down. Seeing cam without glasses. Yeah, I actually was going to put them on before you just reminded me. I don't have great vision. It's not horrible, but it's not great. Thank you for reminding me, though. Ooh, I forgot I have a apple cobbler from the cafe. All right. Let me see again. Okay, let's start blasting through these. Ah, it relieves my head. Yeah, it's a little bit off. Sorry, y'all. Again, I'm trying a new way of streaming here. I'm wirelessly transmitting from the camera. So again, we could go handheld if we wanted to, and it's going into the new ASUS monitor, which is feeding into eCam. I need Sony to make some big back cameras. The RX feels like it was going to break in hand. Kofi, you're gonna anger the internet by saying that. At least Sony added a couple film looks, not much better than the zero film look. Yeah, the film looks, they're not filmic at all. But compared to Sony's usual color profiles, it definitely looks way better. So they can sound more ASMCR, so they make money off the, I don't know about that. But the latter half of it, and consistently make money off the lens ecosystem. We all know Sony loves to funnel sales upwards, which is why they don't give us a lot of cinema features in their FX line. They rather, you know, push people into the Burano and the Venice system. And so, you know, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head on the latter half on there saying making money off the lens ecosystem. Why would they want to make like an amazing built-in lens and a camera and sell it for dirt cheap if it's going to hurt selling the lens ecosystem? So I agree with you on that part. I suspect this camera without tariffs would have been priced at around $4,500. Still expensive, but I think it would have been better received, much better to the community. Yeah, I agree with you, Andrea. Let me look up, so I don't know if you guys saw it in my video. I actually, let me see here. So I tagged my own comment on there. So in the USA, the price is $5,100. In Japan, after you convert it back to USD, it's $4,450. In Canada, after you convert it to USD, it's $4,591. In Australia, after you convert it to USD, it's $5,218. But Australia is always more expensive. I don't know what's going on down there. Maybe it's shipping because they're in a totally different part of the world than everybody else. And then in Europe, after you convert to USD, it's 5,720 USD. But Europe includes their taxes, their 20% tax into the price. So you don't have to add it afterwards. And so if you take off that 20% tax, you're then back around like $4,600 or $4,700. So everywhere else in the world, it's around $4,500. But when you come to the States, it's $5,100. It's an extra $600. So, you know, $4,500 is already like a big sticker price shock. If you go and raise that more because of Cheeto Man's tariffs, it's you know, you're getting the response that we're getting now. So I kind of wish brands were just open about it and just said, hey, you know, there's upcoming tariffs. Trump keeps flirting with the idea of tariffs, and so we just have to build it in, and we just have to cover it. Maybe it'd be cool if they did a rebate to where once you got, actually, this is a great idea. Sony, if you're listening, I doubt they are, you know, build in that tariff pricing, but then once the camera actually gets to the consumer and it's been cleared and no tariffs had to touch them, reimburse them, give them a rebate. I know that's a lot of hassle, but you know, the person would have to take the gamble of, you know, let me buy this and hopefully by the time it gets to me, it didn't get touched by the tariffs. And if so, you know, I'm gonna get my rebate. I think that's a great idea. That would be a headache for Sony to do though. It's a lot easier, and you know, from a business side, it's smarter to just do it how they're doing, sadly. For me, we don't speak enough about video quality cues. I mean, I don't buy these for video quality. And I understand if you know, you're like a dad or something and you're just buying this for that, but I'm assuming there's gonna be other YouTube channels out there that will cover that. I'm very selfish with my content. I only talk about stuff that I'm interested in, sponsored or not. It's only shit that I like, so. Yep, I agree. But you know, you'll get a lot of people who will still defend it even though it's obviously affecting everybody. No, I don't trust digital stabilization. I don't even trust IBIS. I didn't start trusting IBIS to the latest Lumix cameras. As we all know, Lumix has the best IBIS. Sony has the best autofocus. Fuji has the best film color presets. Nikon has the best like internal RAW options, I would say. Dons, yeah, if you care about detail, don't use filters. I care more about the overall look and more trying to squeeze out more of a filmic feeling out of my digital files. So I like filters. And, you know, film's not about detail. Film's about, you know, if you want detail from film, you go up in size. Edwin, I live in a lot hotter climate than Kofi. The S1 II has only overheated on me once, and we were in the middle of the desert. The UV index was incredibly high. We're out in the sun. We had no shade. Our bodies, ourselves, Jericho and I are out there. Our bodies were even like, yo, like this is taking damage. Yeah, the lens on this new Sony is dreamy. That's what I would say. Oops, almost saying down another camera. Yeah, very dreamy. And again, when you put on the short stash filter, personally, I like it even more. Yeah, again, Dons, if you like image quality more, if you're all about getting sharper than real life image quality, this isn't the camera for you. And that's fine. Not every camera needs to be for you. Yeah, I honestly think this probably could have used an ND filter. I've always kind of found it pointless in the Fujifilm X100V because I think the max shutter speed on it is 1/4000. It's an f2 crop sensor lens, and so, you know, in the brightest conditions, it's been fine. But with this, in brighter conditions out here, I can't shoot it wide open. So the short stash filter pretty much puts it right there to where I can shoot it wide open. Dude, what the fuck are you God. I swear, part of the audience here on YouTube, the IQ level is negative. Dude made a video Sony didn't like it and got him to do this. That's so stupid. What am I doing? What am I doing? God. This is what's crazy about the polarization of, no pun intended, of cameras like this. You get all the dipshits, low IQs, who don't understand that it's okay if somebody likes something that they don't like, you know? But I feel bad for the people, because I'm assuming they don't have a lot of friends, assuming they're lonely, I'm assuming they're tired of, you know, jacking off by themselves. I understand. You're lonely. You want to be a part of the conversation, and you don't know how to converse with people in a normal way. It's always just got to be a negative thing. I get it. I don't get it, but I understand you. Can you talk about the video or about the autofocus hit rate with video? No. Guys, again, if you're looking for someone to talk about the video, you know, aspect of this camera, that's not me. I'm sure someone out there would do it. It's not me. Even my Q343, again, I spent over $7,000 in that camera. I've never once purposefully put it in video mode. I've accidentally done it before. Hey, I appreciate that though. Do some blow? No, I've never tried blow in my life. I have really bad fucking allergies. Speaking of. Yeah, guys, I've never tried any hard drugs before, actually. I know that might be shocking because I look like a dirtbag, but I've tried weed a bunch of times and did not like it, maybe paranoid. But I do take weed sleep gummies now, and I love that shit. Because, you know, my brain's hyperactive, and so if I don't take them, I wake up at 3 a.m. with too many thoughts, and then I can't go back to sleep, and then my day's ruined because I'm exhausted. So those weed sleep gummies allow me to get, you know, 6 hours of sleep. It's usually all I need, really. This is a good question, Logan. Thank you. After using it, what price do you think makes sense for it? I think like $4,000. I know that's still high, but this is a niche camera. You know, this isn't a camera for the masses, even though the masses are screaming about it. I think 4,000 bucks would still be overpriced for it, but I think it would be doable. What I think a realistic price and what this is worth, I would say like 35, 36, 37.50 would be better for it. I do believe Sony didn't trust the current compact camera market hype. They try to make a new RX1R with the lowest investment possible, so it feels they wouldn't lose too much on it. That's a very wise perspective. That sounds pretty valid, dude. I see why you're the king leaker. Yeah, that sounds accurate. Because everybody that I know that talks about this series, it's a lot of people where I'm like, I don't know if I like trust your judgment in terms of, you know, on what makes a camera significant for me personally. And that's, you know, like the Leica Q343. Build quality stunning, the image quality stunning, but it still has character. That's what I love. I like the balance that this camera brings, the Q343. So everybody that I know that I've talked about this, I've always never really taken serious. Like, not saying I don't take the people serious, but I don't take their love for this camera serious. And it always seemed incredibly niche, the way they talked about it. So that actually makes sense. Huh. Yes, maybe if Sony put more investment into this, I think this camera would have took off. And, you know, going back to the video I made on it, my first impressions, how I opened it, you know, I think camera consumers, you know, our purchases are going to become more emotional because on the photography end specifically, because when it comes to stills cameras, you know, what other innovation are we going to get? Like, we already, you know, our raw files are incredible. The cameras work great. Autofocus is great across the board pretty much in most aspects, not in all aspects. So really, you know, I've been saying this for like a year or two now. I really think camera companies for stills photography, they're going to have to start innovating creativeness into the cameras. You know, like the Nikon ZF and stuff. Like Fuji's been ahead of the game in terms of that, and that's why, you know, I don't think Fujifilm's crop sensor cameras have crazy good image quality. It's good enough for it being a crop sensor. But, you know, people freaking are diehard Fuji fanboys because they're inspiring, they're motivating. Their cameras make you want to go out and shoot with them. With photography with all camera flash to overcome hard sunlight, would you choose this or Sony A9 III with the 50mm f1.2? I mean, if you're just trying to have fun and do like on-camera flash type stuff, I would go with the RX. But if you're trying to shoot serious flash photography stuff, I would go with like a Hasselblad, because all of their lenses are leaf shutter, all of them, or with the A9 III. But the A9 III, you have to invest into the right flashes as well, because if you get cheap flashes for it, they might not sync accurately. Yeah, guys, we got Andrea, the Sony rumors guy in here, which is crazy, right? Yeah, Andrea, I am interested on, you know, because this camera wasn't leaked at all. We didn't see any leaks on it. You know, even when we had our embargo meeting with Sony, the team only found out about it a couple of days beforehand. So personally, I hope companies start doing this more, because this has been an incredibly fun release for the fact that, you know, nobody knew about it. And you can see the excitement. There's a lot of excitement around it because it's like a mystery that we're all finding out together. So, yeah. Andre, if you're still in here, what's your feelings on these releases? Shield Team 6 in the house. Yeah, I think I'm waiting for a company to work with Kodak to like build film emulations. You know, I said that out loud yesterday, and a thought came into my mind of like, but if they did that, then Kodak might lose film sales, and that would kind of ruin film or Kodak's thing. So I think if they found a way to where obviously they would have to license it with every camera sold, I think Kodak should get a kickback for that. But they should design it to where, you know, it touches on the film look, but doesn't get the full film look. So it doesn't kill film sales. Yeah, anybody who's saying this camera's only worth $2,000, they are off the rocker. Those people clearly would never buy this camera regardless. I think they're just, you know, trying to get friends. Dons, what the fuck do you like, dude? Do you like anything? Jesus. Cam won't let me call in the stream. Kofi, I didn't see this, but I would have, but we're already an hour in. I'm already getting tired. Hey, I appreciate that. Wait, what did they say? I didn't see them talking shit. I didn't see it. If Sony had improved weather sealing, build quality, internal SSD, this camera would have been a home run. Damn, those are good ideas, bro. Yeah, definitely weather sealing. That's kind of wild that for $5,100 there's no weather sealing on this thing. That's crazy. Someone left a comment on my video saying that they had dust get into their RX2 version before. And that is a big worry for me because you guys know, you know, I shoot a lot of cowboy shit, and that's all in dusty environment. So yeah, that is a little bit of a worry for me if I was to invest into a camera like this. But built-in SSD, you know, Leica does it in their M11, Hasselblad does it in their cameras. For $5,100, I think that would be worth it. And buy Mark II until the price comes down. They've been selling high for years, but now will drop with a Mark III. I don't think so. I think a lot of people got put on to this new series, and this is me speaking from my own perspective. Because again, I've heard a lot about this camera, but I haven't really heard enough for me to be like, ooh, that looks cool. So, I don't know. Again, guys, I have the Leica Q3 43, and sometimes it is too tight, and I would like a wider one. So I think if Sony did like a weird like 32 millimeter focal length, I think it could have separated enough from both of the cues that Leica people probably would have even bought it themselves. I work in camera sales, and I can sadly tell you that's exactly how it works. Wait, Kyle, how what works? I don't know what you're referring to, brother. It wants to be pocketable, pocket, but no one's willing to put 5K in their pocket, let's be real. Yeah. I mean, but again, guys, they're not buying it because their favorite influencers using it. I mean, some people I'm sure are. But the masses aren't being like, oh, I have to get this specific camera because this influencer is using it. And I hate the camera, but my favorite influencer is using it, so I want it. That's not how it works. An influencer, if they're covering something that they like, and they're able to communicate why they like it, and it connects with the consumer's brain of like, oh, I like that too, then that makes sense. Yes, obviously, the influencer has influence over them, but if it's a shit product, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to move any units. Yeah, dude. I hate Coachella. There's trash man outside. Best way to start shooting anamorphics, get the Lumix S9 and the Blazar Remus A set. Or the Fujifilm XM5. It's like $800 and it does open gate. And then the Blazar Remus 35 millimeter because it's a Super 35 lens. I'm saying Remus, no, they're not paying me to say this. No, they're not giving me money to constantly shill for them. I'm saying it because they have the best like anamorphic looking budget lens. Dons, you have so many bad hot takes in this chat, brother. What are you talking about? Damn. Yeah, it's the same thing with the Leica Q343. The way the lens is designed in the camera, like you can't replicate it any other way. Yeah, blends, maybe that's where I'm like out of touch. You know, I've been shooting for, so that was like 16, 18, somewhere like that. I'm about to be 35, so like 20, 15 years, something like that. I don't know. I'm used to heavy cameras. So to me, I don't pick up a light camera thinking, oh, like this is going to help my back. It's like, no, I'm used to, they're not heavy to me. None of them are. Yeah, Kyle, I definitely think if like Trump magically went away, that's how I'll say it. And we had actual like brains in the White House right now. And the tariffs, they went after the people who owned the corporations. Like that makes more sense, right? It's like we want to bring manufacturing back to the States where our government sold out our manufacturing. That's why they left the States, because our politicians took money and allowed them to leave it. And now they're saying, oh, we want to bring them back. They don't want to bring them back. They're pandering to make, the citizens think that they're helping us. They're not. They don't give a fuck. The tariffs aren't going to fix it. Maybe in the 1950s, when we actually had power over manufacturing, but we don't. We're just a consumer country. So, if Trump magically disappeared from existence and the tariffs went along with him, then yes, I think the price would come down. Hopefully, I would hope Sony would do the right thing and bring the price down. But the price is still going to be like $4,500. So people are still going to bitch about that. Yeah, Kyle, I'm right there with you, bud. I know you're up in Wyoming or Montana, one of them. Yeah, for $5,100, I don't like the build quality on this Sony. I don't trust it. I've been using it a lot, especially on like my more clinical lenses. It's really subtle. I had the Tiffin version, which That thing's been around for decades, and sometimes it was too much. It was too strong, and so the Polar Pro version is way more subtle. I like it. It's pretty dope. Mr. Camera Junkie. I have it's a 2021 Badlands 4-cylinder, sadly. That's my biggest regret. But beggars can't be choosers. It was like a rare one for a good price. And it's a wrap. I designed the wrap myself. But yeah, if you're interested, I could send you the guy who did it. He's out in LA. If you want to get yours done too. Yeah, I agree, Phil. But I am enjoying shooting with the film looks in this camera. Again, they don't touch Fujifilm. They don't touch Lumix being able, letting you do LUTs in stills mode. It doesn't even touch Nikon looks, their creative profiles. But it's a start. Yeah, guys, hit up that like button. We've had like 300 of you guys in this live, and there's only 42 likes. What are we doing? Come on, get it up. Sony can charge higher price because the company can meet demand and choose. I don't know about all that. Let's see. But this is Kyle. He says he works in camera sales, so maybe he knows something we don't. Because the competition cannot meet demand or chooses not to sell in the U.S. Yeah, I can kind of see that. Leica stuff is out of stock a lot. Blends, how much did you pay for the version 2? Yeah, see, I think we need a tariff rebate. So brands, build in your tariff rates and cover your ass. We understand it. You're a business. That's how every business is getting around it. But if you really care about your consumers, give us a rebate. So if we get our shipment in, and after the 30 days, after the return period, give us a rebate for the tariff built-in prices. Yeah, I do think Sony is getting a little bit arrogant because, they are, in my mind, they run the market. I know Canon, number-wise, is still on top, but they got Best Buy numbers. You go into Best Buy, you get Joe Schmo who doesn't watch any of this, which is majority of people who are buying cameras. They know Canon. Canon's a legacy brand. Sony, it's not really a legacy brand when it comes to photography outside of our community here. I mean, even though they're doing a $100 rebate, that still is not making up for the tariff markup. Because Trump said that they're placing a 25% tariff August 1st on Japan. And I don't know if you guys know this, but if you look at the bottom of the Sony here, it says made in Japan. So again, since this camera's price $4,500 around the world, 45 times 25%, that's an extra $1,125. Okay? Let's add that to the $4,500 price. That's $5,625. It's currently $5,100. So once that tariff hits, I honestly won't be shocked if this camera gets raised to $5,600. I would not be shocked. But I'm assuming maybe what Sony did, if we don't see that price go up, I'm thinking maybe they raised the price around the world and they still built in like half of that tariff into the US prices. So, let's take the 45, let's times that by that 25, no, let's half that 25% rate. So let's say they built in a 15%, no, let's do a 12% markup on it. 12%, that's $540, okay? Let's minus, so what, that's like $3,900. That puts it to the original what the original launch price was like $3,200 or $3,500 for the original, for the version 2. Maybe that's what they did. Maybe there's built-in markups on all of them. And then plus another like 12, 15% for the US. Nikon is aggressive on price across the board. Yeah, I feel like everybody but Sony is being aggressive with pricing. And honestly, Kyle's got all the information right here, guys. Honestly, this camera is so niche and it has such a cult following. I think Sony probably could have even priced it at $6,000 and people are still going to buy it because people have been waiting for this. It has the updated sensor, has the updated autofocus. Oh, that's it, I think. Updated battery. You know, the cult following, that's enough of an upgrade for them to pounce on this. I agree. Sharpness is boring. It's all coming back. Everything's going analog again, and I love it. Exactly. Kyle, you are a smart man. I'm digging your perspectives here. Doing it on the web. I've tested Mensa IQ of 138 and I love all your content. I appreciate that. That's what I'm gonna start saying to all the haters. I'm like, it's okay, only smart people like my content. That's a bar. Yeah, I agree, man. Yeah, see guys, there's people out here that are still up in this camera. Man, I hope so. I don't have any information. But you know, Lumix still likes their Micro Four Thirds sensors. So sadly, I think that's what they would use, which I have zero interest in Micro Four Thirds. Zero. Bruh. I hate the cold. You will not catch me near any ice fields. Yeah, I mean, having a fixed LCD is not a deal breaker for me, but I do use it every once in a while on my Leica. Bro, facts. Ruben, yeah, we're kind of starting to like it. Again, if I don't think about price, I love it. When I think about price, I don't like it. So if I meet it in the middle, you know, I kind of like it. Because of the micro switch. I'm not familiar with the previous one, if you want to expand on that. Yeah, honestly, like whatever inspires you guys, that's, you know, that's the camera for you. And so all the haters are like, oh, this camera's so dumb, blah, blah, blah. It's like, they don't get it. They don't get real, you know, people who actually enjoy photography. I'm going to raise this up. I need to stand up. I hurt my back sitting weird. I think that should be high enough. Boom, perfect. Let's zoom in. I'm getting old. Not getting old, I'm getting out of shape. There's a difference. Cool. All right, frame's not as pretty, but it works. Let me, all right. Yeah, they clearly have the best autofocus. We can all agree on that at least. Yeah, I really like the Q3's focal length for portraits because it's wide and you could get like those environmental type portraits. So I like it, but I think a 35 would have been more classic. Oh, that's interesting, huh? Maybe it's wider than actual 35. Maybe after lens corrections, I don't know. No warranty though, should I pull? Bro, $1,400? Everywhere around here in SoCal, all the used ones are like $2,000 to like $2,400. So if you don't buy that, I'm gonna buy that shit. That's cheap. Yep. Where do you guys you think these tariffs are gonna bring back business? Nah, that is not worth it. Even if businesses start losing sales and sales slow down, they're still going to lose way less money compared to trying to bring back manufacturing to the States. And the shitty part is our cost of, inflation has skyrocketed, but guess what hasn't skyrocketed? Our minimum wage. So our cost of living is too high. And so in order to manufacture things here, they're going to have to pay well. And then, the prices of the products go up even higher than what the tariff pricing is going to be. So even less people are going to be able to afford things. It's so dumb. It is so freaking dumb. They really don't. And it's still, I don't think it's, we've only seen a hint of how this is going to affect our economy here. Bruh, you paid $1,000 for the RX2? Oh, you got the Zoom version. All right. That's different. The camera's cheaper outside. Yes. Once you convert it to USD, it's around $4,500 in every other country, except for Australia. Yeah, if they put the RX1R sensor in a camera like this, oh my God, that'd be perfection. And with our own LUT support, oh my God. Oh my God, that'd be so cool. Ah, I see. Is it the same way that the new one works? Because if so, then yeah, oops. If so, it's gonna be worrying for sure. Yeah, dude, that's kind of how I am. Sony makes great cameras, but over the past 5 years, I pretty much have had access, even outside of YouTube, to like if I need to borrow or rent a camera out, a red camera or whatever it is, I could get my hands on one. So for the Sony stuff, I've always been kind of like they don't really motivate me to shoot outside of professional work. And so, yeah, this is definitely the first Sony camera. I'm like, yes, sir. That's what you're seeing here. That's what I'm wirelessly transmitting through the S12 into the ASUN receiver, into the ASUN monitor. It's not the cleanest feed, but again, say if I like hire Jericho to come film, like we could go handheld and, as we're going live. So maybe I'll do something like that here. They do, because I even opened up the raw files in the Sony app and you can turn it on and off. You can't turn off vignetting, but you can turn off the lens distortion. And there's definitely a lot of tasteful distortion in my mind. It's like barrel distortion, which I absolutely love barrel distortion, whether it's anamorphics or sphericals. Probably not. The Leica SL systems, they feel amazing in hand. But my Lumix S1R2 does like everything I need. And those cameras, I don't use mirrorless cameras for, anything exciting. It's just to get a job done, really. Okay. Well, you're already ahead of me. All right, guys, this was a fun live. We were live for almost an hour and a half. I'm tired. I'm really hungry, so I need to get some food. And yeah. No, the Lumix S1 II has not overheated. We're using it right now. There's no overheating warnings or anything like that. So yeah. Again, I just wanted to do this because, you know, the more I use the new Sony, the more I'm like, I actually really like it. Do I like it for $5,100? No. Do I like it for $4,000? Yes. But it's not $4,000. It's freaking $5,100. So if it was $4,500 in the States, like it is in every other country, that's just enough. Like, it's just high enough where I'm like, oof, I gotta like think about this for a few months and see if I still want it or not. So yeah. Say hi to the dog for us. I don't know where she's at right now. She's sleeping. Her meds kind of make her sedated. But yeah, guys, appreciate you guys, and yeah, be nice to each other when it comes to cameras. It's just fucking cameras, guys. Let's get a life, okay? It's just a camera. Calm the fuck down. Go jack off. Go hug a family member. Not in that order. Not in any order. Anyways, I need to go. All right, guys. Peace.